All right, let's talk about Valentine's Day. You probably think you know the story. Chocolates, roses, a saint named Valentine. But the real history? It's way more complicated. And honestly, a lot weirder than you think. We're talking ancient martyrs, medieval poetry, and even some seriously mean Victorian-era jokes. So let's dig in. When you picture Valentine's Day now, you probably think of something like this, right? A cozy, romantic night in, maybe making a nice meal together, avoiding the crowded restaurants. It's intimate, it's personal, and it's a very, very recent version of the holiday.
Exactly. How did we get here? How does a Roman priest who was executed almost 2,000 years ago have anything to do with flowers and candy and romantic dinners? Well, that journey from martyr to risotto is not what you'd expect. It's a tale of historical mix-ups, brilliant poetry, and even better marketing.
Okay, so first things first, we have to figure out who this St. Valentine guy even was. And right away, we hit a snag. Turns out, the origin story of Valentine's Day is really more of a historical whodunit.
Believe it or not, the Catholic Church actually honors at least two different saints named Valentine on February 14th, and their stories are almost identical. One was a priest in Rome, the other a bishop in Tournai. Both were martyred in the 3rd century, and both were supposedly buried on the very same road. It's also similar that a lot of historians think they might just be the same person whose story got told in a couple of different ways. The bottom line is, the actual history is a total blur.
So if nobody's really sure who he was, how did he become the patron saint of love? Well, that's where the legends come in. Stories that were added centuries after the fact. People started saying he secretly married soldiers when the emperor had forbidden it, or that he cut hearts out of parchment to give to them. And maybe the most famous story of all, that he wrote a note to his jailer's daughter and signed it, "From your Valentine." These tales basically gave a romantic backstory to a long-dead martyr.
For hundreds of years, though, February 14th was just another Saint's Day on the calendar. The huge leap from honoring a martyr to sending love letters? That didn't happen in a church. It happened in a poem. Yep, the person we can really thank for inventing Valentine's Day as a romantic holiday is the famous English poet Geoffrey Chaucer. Back in 1382, he wrote a poem to celebrate the engagement of King Richard II, and he dropped in a little detail about St. Valentine's Day that changed everything.
And this is the line that lit the fuse. He's basically saying that on St. Valentine's Day, all the birds get together to pick their mates for the year. This was the very first time anyone had really connected this specific day with the idea of choosing a partner. Chaucer pretty much invented the concept, and the idea just exploded among the aristocrats in Europe.
So for the next 500 years or so, Valentine's was this kind of courtly, aristocratic thing. But it didn't become the holiday we know until the smoke and steam of the Industrial Revolution kicked in, thanks to the Victorians.
You know, we think